All right, guys. So I feel like before we go into the actual video, I need to kind of give you guys a little bit of transparency because I know that I've said this before, but I know that there's a lot of new viewers. And I want to explain that a lot of videos that I do when I'm covering a product, a lot of the times there is a fee that companies get charged. It's basically just a fee for me to talk about their product on the channel. It's a way to kind of like supplement income because I don't like to rely just solely on like ad revenue from YouTube. But it's always with the promise that it doesn't mean I'm going to talk positive about your product. It doesn't mean that you give me any notes on what I need to say. It's basically just like a product placement fee on the channel. So their product being talked about to my audience. But anyway, EarFun is one of those companies that pays that fee. They've always been willing to do it, and EarFun, for the most part, I have always been happy with their products. But I wanted to set all of that up because the pair of headphones that we're going to check out today, which is their newer budget pair of wireless noise canceling headphones, and that is the EarFun Wave Life, I am not completely blown away with as much as I've been with some of their other products. So we're going to talk about all of that throughout this video. And I say budget because these do come in retailing at $59, although on Amazon it says they retail for $79, but they're marked down. But that's not really the case. On their website it says $59, but because they were just released and because there's all these little deals with Amazon, right now you can actually pick them up for $41. Now, all of this information will be in the description below. It is a hybrid active noise canceling pair of headphones. It is high-res certified, but not high-res wireless. So to get the high-res audio, you actually have to use the USB-C connection to actually take advantage of that. So don't just see the high-res logo on the box and think that it's high-res wireless, because it's not. But it does give you the ability to use the USB-C cable for audio in. It does not use a normal headphone cable like you see with a lot of other headphones. So that is an interesting choice, but I do like this because pretty much every piece of tech now is USB-C. It does have Bluetooth 5.4, so it does support multi-point connection, which allows you to be connected to more than one device at a time. And it's also using 40mm composite dynamic drivers. Now, the build and the look of these, I feel like the look is kind of generic. It doesn't have any kind of like standout design feature that makes it go, hey, I know what that is. But it is very lightweight. It's very comfortable. It does have pleather padding at the top. It does have the pleather ear pads. It's very soft. Again, it's a pair that you can have on for a good amount of time and kind of just forget that you even have them on. Now, they do fold inwards and the ear cups do swivel 90 degrees to kind of lay flat. It also uses physical buttons, and I am happy to say that those physical buttons do give you control over everything. So you have your play, your pause, turning your volume up and down, and also skipping your tracks forward and going backwards. Now, the battery life on these, which you would have to use the USB-C cable to charge these, on a full charge with the noise canceling off, you can get about 60 hours. If you use these with the noise canceling on, it is going to drop it down to 37 hours. But luckily, if you do happen to pick this pair up and it is dead, it does have a fast charge feature where a quick 10-minute charge will get you 4 hours of use. So that definitely comes in handy if you're like me and don't always make sure that your headphones are charged. Now, these do work with EarFun's app, which I do recommend downloading because obviously it will help you keep the headphones updated. There are some EQ options in here that are already like pre-built in. You can customize the EQ settings the way that you want. And there's also basically like a hearing test that it lets you go through. So it can just kind of come up with an EQ setting based off your results from that test. And this is very important, but I do want to save this for when we talk about the sound. So we will talk about this a little bit later. But also within the app, you can switch around some controls on the headphones. You can also turn on the multi-point connection within the app. And there's also a gaming mode or a low latency mode. So if you're going to be gaming on your device or watching movies or TV shows, this will help kind of cut down on any kind of lag. Now, if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, they do have 4 HD mics on here. And I think for the most part, these are doing a pretty decent job. It's trying to block out some of your surroundings if you're in a noisy environment, but you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here is a quick mic test outside using the EarFun Wave Life. It's not really a windy day, so it's kind of hard to test that, but I do hear some birds and things like that. So this is just really to give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's go ahead and talk about the sound. And like I've said, if we're talking about an audio product, sound is the most important thing, at least when it comes to how I approach audio products. And this is where these just kind of fell flat. Now, when I took these out of the box and I connected them to my phone and I just used them the way that the EQ setting was already set out of the box, it's way too boomy. It's way too bloated. It's not very detailed, and mids just don't stand out very well. The treble doesn't have enough brightness to it, and I think that the bass is just affecting the overall sound a little too much. But like I said earlier, you can go within the app and adjust some things around, and I did, and I got these to sound pretty good. In fact, I got them to sound really good. But the big thing here is when you start messing around with EQ settings, even the ones that are already pre-built into the app, you lose a lot of volume. It definitely did not seem to get near as loud as it did with the EQ settings that were already on it out of the box. It just completely changed things altogether. So it's like you could have these headphones two different ways. You can have them loud, but not have them sound very good because of how it's tuned out of the box, or you can have these tuned very well once you dial it in the way that you want, but then now you lose, I would almost say, half the volume that you have with the way that it was EQ'd out of the box. This is very strange. Now, I've always noticed in some other headphones, once you start to mess around with tuning, you can lose a little bit of volume, but I think this is a pretty drastic drop when it comes to the volume levels that it made me go back to the way that it was tuned out of the box just to get a decent amount of volume. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging of these, they are way too boomy to sound open. It kind of left me feeling like I was in a small to medium sized room, and it did do a decent job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. It just didn't sound very spaced out. Now, the noise canceling on these aren't anything special. I think for its price range, being able to get them for under $50, I think it's just okay. It's more so just blocking out like very low tones like engine noises, AC units, and things like that. But as soon as there's anything else, like people talking or a TV going on or anything like that, you're gonna hear it just the same way you would with any other pair of headphones. So do not go into this thinking you need a really good pair of noise canceling headphones. The transparency mode on here though does work pretty decent. I think it makes things sound fairly natural. There is a slight digital sound to what's being pumped into the headphones, but for the most part, you could easily carry on a conversation and not really have to take these off. So my overall opinion is this: if you are looking at getting these, I would definitely say get them at their sale price. But I think that there's a lot of competition in the sub $50 wireless noise canceling market that it's kind of making it really hard to recommend these, where normally EarFun products are one of the first ones that I would recommend when it comes to budget anything audio. Their speakers are good. Their earbuds are fantastic. They usually check all the right boxes, but for some reason, I don't know what it is. And I know I've been testing out some other higher end headphones lately, but this one just doesn't hit the mark, even at that low price tag. Again, for me, that's just too many sacrifices that I still wanted decent. Now, if I got the volume that I got with the tuning the way that it was out of the box, but with the way that I wanted to tune these, then yes, I could recommend these, just no issue. And maybe they can fix this with a firmware update. But as it is right now, I would say just kind of look at some of the other headphones that are out there in this price range. But guys, that wraps up my video on the EarFun Wave Life. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.